Thank you. All right, there we go. Up, up, and away we go. Are you guys there? Oh, shit. No, you're not. Default? No, I don't want the default. I want the... I think this one. All right, say something. Oh, hold on. Say it again.
Again.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, we got you guys. We got me. We've got everything going. It's now time for the E2IP. Should probably start the background noise. Shares going.
I'm a zombie. There you what match I'm playing. The zombie. What's the zombie?
I don't like play, so I don't know. You know.
Damn, son.
Stop fighting.
Alright, I'm taking the camera off for now.
Yeah, give me a second on mute.
What? Stupid cat. It's gonna be Chinese
What is this zombie match all about?
Oh, baby. I'll Activision.
Hey, John. Just out of curiosity, what are gas prices like there today?
A lot.
Fine, a lot.
Okay.
Like 360.
God, how can you stick? Well, that EV's
We're at
looking
a-
pretty nice, isn't it, bro?
We're at $1.37.
Fuck out of here. Although I don't care. I run on Thor power. So.
Russian oil.
No, Canadian oil.
Canadian oil. What is that? Maple syrup?
No, dude, we're the #1 supplier to the U.S. Take a look.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Burn 'em.
that's why Trump has been playing this like dangerous freaking game, because we're all sitting there going like, well, do we cut them off? Like, do we want to see what happens then?
No, because honestly, it's actually the best game for America in a long time. Americans really do believe that we're equal partners in the production field. And like all of our CEOs have been saying for decades that they deserve 100 times the worth of their lowest level employee.
Yeah.
And if all of this goes the way it's going, every single CEO will finally be seen for who they really are, which is a waste of nothing.
See, I would have thought what they would be seen for what they really are, a target for Luigi wannabes.
No, see, that's the issue, is there are no Luigi wannabes. But Luigi was one of a kind because, like, all he really is, and this is something I was saying to somebody on Facebook, is like, he is what happens when people don't value people anymore. Like, people have been dying on the streets every day forever. That's normal. This is the first time where, like, the shooter's getting taken seriously because the victim mattered to the rich.
Yeah.
And like in that instance, like the rich are like, we're gonna kill this kid. And if like the jury goes hung, like that's a testament that we the people don't agree with anyone in power.
That's it.
And that's all it takes. Because as soon as we go, no, we don't actually think he deserves any kind of punishment. I think he's
We're gonna go ahead and mute now.
Morality.
Warner Bros. Is already seeking out new leadership, And we're going to talk about how Grand Theft Auto is quite shaking up the gaming industry and setting new precedents. All this and everything else we think you think should be important right now on the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. And welcome back to the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast, your number one source for all the best insider news as well as honest opinions of everything pop culture, whether it's movies, games, shows, books, or if you think it's important, why don't you come bring it to the comment section? We'll talk about it, maybe. I don't know. Either way, I'm Petey York, joined as always by Mr. Corione, Witch in Residence.
Hello, hello.
And, of course, Mr. Pollo Zapatos, who is now looking to adopt the sleek, dazzling veneer of the 1980s into his wardrobe. Welcome to the club.
Feeling pretty
where,
snowy.
where do we even begin? There is so much going on in not just the pop culture sphere. I mean, just every single angle of pop culture's got something crazy going on today.
Yeah, it is a full load today that we have to chamber into the breakdown.
Full load that it's time to dismount right now. Whoops, that was
You're gonna shoot it all over the audience.
There
That's
we go.
right.
All right.
Anyway. Yeah, right? How can we be an intelligent show but have fart noises? That's impossible, isn't it? Well, you know, I kind of like to think that this channel can be kind of that bridge between the stupid funny and you know, appreciating things from different perspectives. But at the end of the day, like, learn to have fun, people.
All right. All right, let's break it down here. So, David Zaslav is meeting with candidates to replace Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy as Warner Brothers heads. This is still early and informal and not 100% official, but from the looks of things, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy haven't exactly been setting, you know, the box office on fire as the heads of Warner Brothers. 2024 is what I think that you would refer to in a sports ball season as a team building year, to say the least.
That sounds familiar.
Right. And, you know, they've disappointed at the box office a few times. Joker 2 did not exactly bring butts into seats. Neither did Mickey 17.
Brought something into someone's butt. Anyway.
Yeah, well, but now we're at a point where it looks like they might have failed for the last time. And you know, this is usually a big deal, right? Heads of studios do not change often. And when they do, it is a very big deal and usually represents a fundamental shift in what the studio is going to be producing. Now, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy have been known for their more, I would say, friendly approach to pop culture. So we could be seeing a lot more, like a lot less art films and a lot more approachable films for the next little while from Warner Brothers, depending on how this all shakes down.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Joker 2 was, well, I can only go based off of the data because I didn't go and see it. I had heard snippets of it. The reason why I don't want to see it, and my reason for not giving a full review or critique of it, was because I had heard that they would just change and rewrite the script on a daily basis, and there was just too much creative input, kind of like with the 2016 Ghostbusters. Like, I don't know if anybody had seen Red Letter Media's breakdown of it, but the 2016 Ghostbusters mostly failed because everybody was just doing their, Starbucks improv class. And so it just eventually, that's kind of what pieced together for a movie. And it's like, well, when I found out that was going to happen, and it's like, just look at the numbers at the end of the day. It's like, was this movie really worth anyone's time or effort to go see? Obviously not. It didn't bring anybody in. And yeah, let's see, what else was not that great?
Mickey 17 was in the list of disappointments.
Well,
What?
in the list? I mean, basically everything.
What was it?
Bros.
I don't know what Mickey 17 was. I
didn't even see it either.
What?
No, okay, so I've seen a trailer for it. Not a trailer. I saw a couple people talk about it.
Friends of a family's Facebook posts mentioned it in an Instagram, Snapchat. That seems to be the marketing that was put in for it.
Critical Drinker did a pretty insightful review, and honestly, it's like a bad version of Altered Carbon.
Huh.
And
okay,
like,
oh yes, I remember this one. Yeah, this is the one where they make they make clones of the person.
Although to be honest, freaking Altered Carbon Season 2 is just a crappier Altered Carbon anyway. But Dragon Blaze is in the chat, says, "Is it finally happening?" Yes, bro. Do you want to be on the show? I forgot. I don't think I promoted you to panelist in the TWB Discord. Oops, that doesn't go there. But if you want to be on the show, let me know and I'll send you a link via the Discords. Yeah, it's gotta have the Discords, the YouTubes, the Twitches, everybody.
One of the bigger things with Warner Bros., and it's actually really funny because I was listening to a podcast with Adam Devine and Theo Vaughn, and Adam was talking about the last time he was on Theo Vaughn, he got in a bunch of trouble because he had said it really felt like people were getting superhero fatigue, and this was like right at Endgame. So like when everybody as fans were starting to say the same thing. And apparently he got in trouble with like his agency, and he was like, "You guys, you can't say that. Like, you can't say there's superhero fatigue or you'll never get a superhero movie." And so like this year when he's doing the podcast in 2025, he's like, literally like the next month an article came out called Superhero Fatigue. And it had nothing to do with me, but I got in trouble with my agency about it. But like, there was no superhero fatigue. There was bad superhero movie fatigue that started with Captain Marvel and succeeded on through, like, even the Batman that Warner Bros. Recently came out with wasn't really Warner Bros. It was mostly everybody else, and Warner Bros. Was like, yes, you guys can have this one. Joker, that was Warner Bros. They wanted an art house piece. That was...
Yeah, because, like, I remember superhero fatigue being a huge thing. And then Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad by James Gunn came out, and that was like, well, yeah, exactly as John just said. It's not bad. It's not superhero fatigue. It's bad, bland superhero fatigue. Because in game, I'm gonna say it, guys. Here it comes.
Call it for you.
Here it comes. In game was not that good.
Story. Dude, when Tom Holland had to redo Spider-Man because Andrew Garfield was too old and technically they couldn't bring in like the third version of Amazing Spider-Man, like that's what we were annoyed with. And yet Marvel answered that perfectly. If you didn't notice, like Spider-Man Tom Holland didn't have his with great power comes great responsibility until his fourth movie, technically, because he was in Civil War.
Right.
So like that's why those Spider-Man movies still track. But that's what I'm talking about is like noticing it. Whereas like Batman came in and we're like, okay, we're going to give you a different Batman. Okay, we're going to give you a new Superman. Okay, we're going to give you the Suicide Squad without introducing the old Joker or the old Harley Quinn. But then the Suicide Squad, the second one, was like, okay, we're just going to use everything you saw in the last one to make this make sense and then make a good movie. Which is proof that that's all that ever needed to be was take what everybody else's group project has made and then let one director and his cast make a good movie.
Yeah.
Like the group project is great for assembly.
Draken Blaze says, next time, bro, I'm setting up some stuff. Oh, bummer, man. That's too bad. But I'm here supporting. Thank you. We do appreciate lurkers, commenters, likers, subscribers, and sharers. Everybody who wants to sponsor. Yeah, Draken Blaze, thank you for being one of tonight's sponsors of our stream this evening.
You guys want to blame somebody for our show? Draken Blaze is the first one.
Getting those views is what matters. All right, what do we got next?
So Jason Momoa and Jack Black think what the world really needs now is a Minecraft movie. They're suggesting that with so much war and hatred in the world, that a movie that promotes the idea of working together towards a common goal isn't a bad idea. And while I agree with this, I agree with the sentiment that, hey, maybe a little bit more cooperation, a little bit more love and peace would be great. I don't know if a Minecraft movie is the place we're going to get that from.
Dude, you'd be really surprised. Again, I love listening to podcasts. So, I listen to these people talk about it, and I know why we don't like it. It's because Minecraft
it's dumb.
Hold on. It's because Minecraft is a retrograde in graphics that we all remember growing out of. We all remember when Minecraft.
See, I don't even think it's that. I'll be honest with you. I bought my copy of Minecraft.
Like that, John. Damn.
It goes more though, because, and this is what they were saying, because my son's 4 and he's already down to go see it, and he barely plays Minecraft, but the kids that didn't grow up with bad graphics. Instead, Minecraft is a different version of graphics. You can have your Halo hyperrealism, and then you can have your Minecraft, and it's digital cubes and easy to manipulate and understand. And it's those kids are in love with this, just like they were in love with Super Mario, because none of those kids grew up being mad at Super Mario. All of them just grew up with the idea of Super Mario and Smash Bros, Super Mario and Mario Party. They grew up with the fun Marios, whereas a lot of us grew up with this plumber is going to be murdered if I see him. And that's a whole different mindset towards the video games. And I listened to this really interesting thing that apparently this French philosopher came up with. I think his name is Benoit. But he basically described the idea that as we start to hyper realize our digital realities and they start to become more realistic, it becomes harder for us to understand the difference between now and then. And this guy was writing this a while ago, pre-World War II, pre-jet planes. And he's talking about with the advent of the television, we're going to be seeing some crazy stuff. With the advent of film and cameras, we're going to start not wanting to talk to each other and be neighbors. And modern day, fast forward, it's getting to the point that there's a group of people that don't want to play Call of Duty because you're G.I. Joe. They don't ever want to be G.I. Joe.
There's also a group of people who don't want to play Call of Duty because it's Call of Duty.
Right. For me, it's still at the very least, it's the most hyper-realistic first-person shooter.
Which, there's a time and place and market for that.
Right, but these kids
okay,
are
but none of that addresses what my concerns at all with this. Here's what mine are. I bought this game when it was still under development by Notch, and I was putting money into it because the concept of a buy now, actually get the game later in a fully developed version hadn't existed yet, and this was a novel concept. I bought into it, and my issue is Minecraft is a sandbox game. It has no plot. So how are you making a movie about a sandbox game?
There's plots of land. Anyway,
no, that's the beauty. That is the greatest thing, because this is what I'm talking about in terms of the bridge between the digital and the real. This is Ready Player One skipping the advent of meta, skipping like all the parts that make you go, oh man, I can't wait for somebody to sell me that Joy-Con. Instead, these people just teleport into this sandbox world, and whoever made this sandbox gets to write whatever story they want. That's how sandboxes work. And that's where it's like, if they don't try to pretend like this is the origin of Minecraft and instead just go like, no, this is what Minecraft is. Like, look at what I built. I'm Steve. I built this. Then it's like, that's what every kid ever dreamed of, right? And so when they're talking about working together, like that is what Minecraft is all about. When you get your friends in, somebody can stand watch for the ghosts, and then you can build the shelter. Like,
I don't know, man. I feel like
there's a chance.
there's no story they can create that will compare to the stories I have of me playing Minecraft on a server with my friends, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean that was the big pull of it is the entire Minecraft community is something uniquely special in of itself. So.
Well, okay. Do you guys remember the South Park episode about Minecraft?
Yeah, that's one of the funniest episodes. That made me realize that there were like fans of murder mystery that I guess for them it's a way to encourage being fruitful and multiplying, which good for them, I guess. But
well,
yeah, that whole episode was hilarious with where they block their parents from watching them murder mystery.
Right, but then at the very end, the parents are playing Minecraft,
killing each other.
Do the same thing, and it's like, wait, that's exactly what my son does? Whenever we play together, he tries to shoot me immediately.
Hey,
like
that's what I indulged in doing Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Well, like all they have to do is put this family in the Minecraft sandbox. Steve was the first one to be teleported, Narnia'd there, and he never got out. Now you can just write any story about it, because like everybody that's going in already knows what Minecraft is. The whole point is to show you that like teamwork makes the dream work. If it is just a wholesome family movie about teamwork making the dream work, like finally, that's what we've been hoping for. And I mean, I hope it's good. I'm probably not going to watch it because I cannot stand Minecraft cubes. I'm one of the people that was like, no, I remember growing out of this. Why is this the #1 selling franchise? But then they made that library where they wrote all those books on an open server and they actually put them in there. And I was like, okay, this is the greatest thing ever contributing to mankind. I guess they can have a movie too. Fortunately, my son's grandma already said she's taking him, so I don't have to.
There's a little bit of envy in some of it, because I've actually seen some incredible artworks that have come out of Minecraft cities that people just build, whether it's replica cities of real places or fictional real worlds. I've been seeing that since YouTubing other people do paint. I mean, yes.
That's what I mean. Like, I've seen bad graphics made beautiful my entire life.
So that's why you couldn't get into Valheim. Well, that explains it. But I know that's another game I need to get back into. I have so many games I played, not enough time. Let's go MST3K style. There we go. That feels better.
Bill Murray's back in the news, and he says that not taking the opportunity to work with Clint Eastwood is one of the few regrets he has. Apparently, he had an opportunity to work with the director on a military movie in the 80s. But was afraid of being typecast when doing it.
Hacksaw Ridge?
Heartbreak Ridge is what my guess would be, actually. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of,
Yeah, I suspect it's Heartbreak Ridge that he had the opportunity to be on. And you know what? That would have actually been really interesting. Having Bill Murray and Clint Eastwood on the same project.
Dude, not only would it have been interesting, cool. It would have bridged the gap between comedians and military so much faster.
That's true.
Like, YouTube was the thing that had to do that, but if Bill Murray had done it, oh man. like, think about Bill Murray in Independence Day.
Right?
It would have been so much funnier.
I'm actually thinking, do you remember, you've watched Heartbreak Ridge, I'm assuming. You know how there was the, I want to say very, very early rapper funk guy who was
I want to say it's Genuine, but I can't remember for sure.
Yeah, that dude. I'm willing to bet that's what Murphy. That's the guy that Murphy would have been cast as.
Well, okay,
No?
so like that's the thing is like that guy was already picked for that role because like that was one of Clint Eastwood's major things was he actually wanted to bring more black actors into
Oh, okay.
Hollywood into pivotal roles, and he was like, the military has exactly done that. So like that's why a lot of these military movies make it so seamless, and they always take time to explain how the military feels about it. And there's a whole scene in that movie. There's a whole scene in pretty much every military movie.
Then you know who it probably would have been? It would have been Profile. Remember the kind of nerdy one? They would have had to replace him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, it would have been like the captain. He would have been a few minutes on screen, but he would have just been the guy that lets Gunny be Gunny.
Yeah, that would have worked too.
That's what I mean by Bill Murray bridging the gap, is like that's how the military works, is there are so many Bill Murray types.
Oh yeah.
In pivotal positions that make the gears just go like butter because they're not super strict diehards like Gunny Hathcock. Like that's the dynamic of it all, and I think that's what would have made it really fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else I got in the grab bag here. Yeah, okay. Let's hit this one. So, there's a lot of animation shows that are making pretty impressive comebacks. There's a King of the Hill revival on the way. American Dad is coming back to Fox. And, you know, the questions
American Dad went back to Fox, so it's still on, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the question is becoming, could another Fox animated series return, and who would that be?
You know what? Don't even bother. Like, don't get me wrong. The Critic had a couple of good moments. But let's just put an AI filter on the three of us, and then that's the new show. We're the Critic, and then yeah, we'll give Fox Tuesday. Just give Fox the recording of the podcast. And be like, there you go. There's your show.
Yeah, there's our voice.
Give us millions now.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I already have like characters drawn up for each of us. Like at this point, it's like just pay a couple animators behind the scenes, and we will produce the scripts. And all they have to do is get it in post and post it on Sunday. And watch it be like 3 minutes of me complaining about nothing, and you guys telling me to shut up, and then it's a 5-minute show every day.
That's our brand right there.
Fine by me.
John runs his mouth. We tell him he's stupid, and we go on with life. That's it.
Oh my God.
The Abusive Brothers. Anyway.
And no. But we shouldn't ask them to animate it live. Do you have any idea what kind of a cramp that gives the guy's drawing? I mean.
No, I'm not saying animate it live. What I'm saying is
just get one of Elon's bots to animate it.
Your favorite parts and animate it, and have it produced for a Sunday cartoon. And then we'll have another one on Tuesday. Load it up. Boop, boop.
So wait a minute. Did you suggest having Elon's bots do the animation? Why, speaking of AI in Hollywood.
Ah, crap.
Sorry, dude, you set me up for it, and I had to go with it. So Justine Bateman really wants tech companies out of Hollywood. She wants it back into the hands of artists. She's very terrified of AI homogenizing the art that comes out of Hollywood.
Jay Ghost in the chat says it stinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, dude,
I've been manifesting some terrible things lately. I need to just stop. Ugh.
Dude, to me, I feel like the problem with AI in Hollywood is the people that know how to use it to its maximal efficiency are some of the lowest paid, like, turn and burn hires that they get. Like, what is it called? The crunch. Like, a lot of people think that crunch started in the gaming industry. No, it started in animation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it never left animation.
And
the
friggin-
gaming industry is the only place that ever talked about it.
And Matt Stone and Trey Parker setting the bar like impossibly stupid for cranking out a show. They literally go 6 days to air.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker did the thing that all of these other animators could start doing literally tomorrow with AI, which is they did it themselves, so they made the majority of the money.
Well, yeah.
And then it's like,
true.
oh, my art is making money. Then yeah, I don't care if it's AI or whatever. You wrote it. You made it good and funny. I've seen Archer. I've seen Family Guy. I've seen The Simpsons. I want to see what all these other guys wish they could have devoted their artistic skills to.
Well, I think one of the pieces here is not just the AI animators and pieces like that. It's the guys who are using AI to basically write scripts for them that I think is the primary complaint.
Which
I don't know.
I want to say real quick, you will never see any of that content. I will not use AI to write any of my stories.
I use AI all the time to write my resumes and cover letters because, like, most of these companies are using AI to read my resume and cover letters.
Okay, well, resume and cover letters aren't, novels.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite and be like, AI doesn't make your life easier. What I'm saying here more than anything is, like, the guys that they've paid for the last 5 years to produce movie scripts, I hope AI is better.
Yeah. And,
you know?
I mean, I'll freely admit, I use AI to go through my work after I've written it and look for anything I could have missed.
Exactly.
Like continuity errors and such.
It's a tool. There is nothing wrong with somebody using a tool. Like an actor could, I don't know, figure out how to use AI to help them run some kind of social media thing. And they could start producing shorts to show their different chops, and AI could give them different backgrounds because, actors have tons of money. They could easily pay an AI programmer to help them with a green screen render. Oh, did I just find a way to make people make money and nobody gets screwed?
I don't want a green screen render.
There's
I want
so many options. I mean, look at all the podcasters and comedians that have created more jobs than most actors have ever created.
I want you to make orange screen a possibility, okay? That's what I want.
Orange screen, every screen's a possibility. It's all just about background
yours
effects.
Is like
and
yellow.
Like,
you decided to match your own wall.
Good programmer. Exactly. Like, to me, it is the only reason Hollywood is having a problem with this is because they never took the nerds seriously. Yep. And now they have to. And that's a you problem. Like, I've always taken nerds seriously. They're the ones that run everything. Like, it's not nerds, or it's not jocks that grow up to become the president. Like, as much as we want to say that guy's a jock, like, he's a nerd's interpretation of a jock. That's why he's so bad at it.
Yeah, I can't argue it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's basically how I felt, watching the show The Big Bang Theory. It's basically nerd face.
Look. No, but look.
It's not even nerd face.
No. Hold on.
Interpretation of nerds.
I would actually argue that I think I did actually go to school and was friends with archetypes very similar to what showed up on The Big Bang Theory. When it lost me was when they stopped making fun of themselves and others started making fun of them.
It was
That's
the first
when it lost
couple of seasons. It felt like, yeah, it had some promise and true to form, but then it was just like, yeah, it just turned into, here's this gross dude who hits on women all the time, and it's, haha funny because the laugh track's going off, but if we actually look at this as behavior, it's socially unacceptable. But, he ends up with a hot wife, and then
it was we stopped laughing with them and started laughing at them.
Which was, yeah.
which is Family Guy, and that's its own show. Like you can
Exactly.
do that, but you start out that way. You don't change midway through because you forgot what you were doing.
Because oh yeah, we need more gross sex humor and haha nerds and sex is always awkward and
which is just
funny
like,
guys.
There's the jocks and then there's the money guys. Like the trust fund kids are the ones that are like, no, let's show more sex. It's all they ever add. They're like more sex.
Yeah. And what they don't understand is the truth is, listen, the nerdy guys were doing all kinds of crazy stuff with the nerdy girls, man. All the way through
that's
high
because
school.
They're the ones with the imaginations, whereas like all the jocks are like talking about how they do it, and they're like, wait a minute, that's not physically possible. And the nerd's like, I know it's physically possible. I studied physics.
Yeah,
The nerds are going, look,
anyway.
The the skateboard magazine and the Karma Sutra got mixed together,
yeah,
and we just figured it out from there.
So yeah,
Barnes and Noble to read.
Yeah. All right, so let's move it on.
Next.
All right, this is an interesting one, and it affects us here on YouTube.
Brought to you by Deadline. Oh, and I'd also like to thank our new sponsor, J Ghost.
Ah, excellent. So, YouTube is turning off ad revenue for fake movie trailer channels after the Deadline investigation that basically said, look...
Hallelujah, there is good in the internet tonight.
And, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of those fake trailers have been amusing over the years.
Sure, absolutely.
But...
some of them.
You know, a lot of them have been going out of their way to try to make us legitimately believe a project that is never going to get off the ground would, or, you know, have been trying to stoke the fires of controversy and be provocative to start, like, you know, to start an uproar because of these fake trailers. And the fact that we're now only, you know, the fact that these guys aren't going to make money off it now is an interesting turn
I'm
of
actually
events.
curious.
Okay,
To quote to actually answer the rhetorical question in Starship Troopers, I would like to know more.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, what is
I
this
just
Deadline
wanna-
investigation? Because this has me intrigued. But
This
John,
is
go
the
ahead and
most-
ramble real quick.
Okay, this is the most frustrating thing about reality is that when a company that is supposed to be run by the most expensive, most intelligent individuals this world has ever seen, the ABC company, they require journalists to write in-depth exposés before they cut off the revenue stream. It's almost as if they are a government at this point, and they will do anything to maximize profit, especially at the cost of the consumer.
Probably, because as Jay Ghost says, Google taking a stand against making up shit for money and viewership seems hypocritical.
It does.
Yeah,
But
Jay,
here
I
we go.
agree. So I'll give that for you.
So Deadline analyzed how screen culture is creating trailers that closely imitate official marketing material for franchises like Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Superman, but splices in AI imagery to tease irresistible details about a movie that appeal to their giant fandoms. KH Studios, meanwhile, imagines outlandish versions of major films and series, including James Bond starring Henry Cavill and Margot Robbie, and a Squid Game season with Leonardo DiCaprio. Our deep dive revealed that instead of protecting copyright on these videos, a handful of Hollywood studios, including Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Sony, are secretly asking YouTube to ensure that the ad revenue from these AI-heavy videos flows in their direction. The studios declined to comment.
Oh,
now
wait, what were we saying about Warner Bros. Needing a new CEO? Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
copyright infringement for thee, but not
for me. Exactly. Gee,
That's
that
called
Yeah.
tyranny,
sounds.
boys and girls.
Yeah. So now YouTube has suspended.
Johnny.
Well, now YouTube has suspended Screen Culture and KH Studios from its partner program for violating monetization policies, meaning they can't earn ad revenue from videos they produce. They can appeal YouTube's decision. YouTube's monetization policies state that if creators are borrowing material from others, you need to change it significantly to make it your own. It adds that videos must not be duplicative or repetitive and should not be made for the sole purpose of getting views.
Yeah, well, which is exactly what these AI fake trailers are just generated to do. That's all they do.
Yep. Furthermore,
Isn't that
YouTube's
exactly
misinformation.
What the article said they did.
Furthermore, YouTube misinformation policies prohibit content that has been technically manipulated or doctored in any way that misleads viewers. I just want to point out that we don't do that. If we're going to mislead you, we will be honest about misleading you first.
It's usually what I try to do anyway. Sometimes, most of the times, look, 95% of the time it works 100% of the time, okay? Those are
Yeah.
good numbers, right?
That's
Look, guys,
it.
I've meant everything that I've said in the context that I said it. If I remember either, I'll let you know.
And if I don't, it's your fault. Anyway, light that gas.
Yeah, so,
So-
here's there's some two interesting pieces I want to
Yes,
go
please.
through here.
Please continue.
Now, Screen Culture was approached for comment. KH Studios founder said a bunch of stuff, but here's the real big one. Deadline asked YouTube a series of questions about how its algorithm boosts fake movie trailers, as well as how Screen Culture videos outrank official trailers in search results. YouTube declined to comment. I thought you guys would appreciate that little piece.
Yo, deadline for Pulitzer Prize. Holy hell.
there. Mhm.
Like,
Dude,
this
welcome
is
back to
not,
journalism.
wow, this should have been the headline in our freaking video.
Finally.
Because this is some actual, like, internet equivalent of street justice that Deadline, so Deadline now has,
No, this is actual.
they're gonna get an
journalism.
actual free
is
ad
what-
from us next week. I'm gonna have to put one together.
This is what you're supposed to be doing if you're paid to journal. Like, go find the secrets.
This is not. This should be on like every front page of every even like news outlet. This is not. This has been the studios capitalizing on their own theft.
Yep.
But then everybody went along with it. But all it took was just Deadline doing some investigative work to find out, hey, you guys, what are you doing here? Oh, hey, we just want to ask some questions. We're just gonna go ahead and stop giving these videos ads. And then it'll. Yeah, okay. Well, way to go, Deadline. Thank you for being a trustworthy source in a sea full of shit.
There we go.
Jago says, no more repetitive videos for views. Watch Mojo and Mr. Beast better watch their asses.
Right?
Oh, but they're so
Are they
Dude,
gonna put that into the algorithm finally? Because, like, if you've noticed, none of our stuff is
Yeah,
repetitive.
so there's an easy fix for this, YouTube, if you're watching this video that we're doing on their platform. It's pretty easy. Simply set the algorithm to boost official channel trailers only, and the problem should pretty much evaporate. Of course, you wouldn't have had to do that if you weren't boosting the illegal content first.
That's it. All right, let's move it on.
This next article brought to you by our newest favorite source, Deadline.
Well, now, Matthew Lillard, who is a gentleman that I have followed his entire career
Zoinks.
and, might have a bit of a crush on, has come out has recently returned to the Scream franchise. He's commented that he's slightly terrified about coming back to it, given its storied history now.
Gets terrified of coming back to Scream.
And, and he really hope he doesn't screw it up. And, I gotta be honest with you, man, Matthew Lillard he's always been one of the favorites of mine in terms of the body of his work, because he always plays these incredibly great, oddball, vaguely stoner characters.
Well, he's, just kind of a great oddball, vaguely stoner actor himself, so...
Well, yeah, right? And...
I mean, it's not a bad typecast to end up in. It would seem to have a pretty lucrative career, and he's got a recognizable face and reputation, so...
Yeah. And on top of that, too, a reputation for actually being a really good guy to work with in the, the industry.
That's always good to hear.
Yeah, he's got a Keanu reputation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, he's one of those guys that, really actually, cares about his craft and wants to see his other, and wants to see other actors succeed with him. So that's a good sign generally from an actor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean...
That's somebody that's actually like a master of the craft, not a guy who makes money doing acting.
Yeah.
And it's fine to be the latter, but don't act like the former. Let the former be the former and you do your thing. And then that way, everybody knows who's playing. That's how it really does everybody better.
Yeah.
And hopefully you grow and find out that helping your peers is way better than stepping on them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he actually, this was expressed at 90s Con in Hartford,
There's
Connecticut.
A 90s Con?
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds like it might be the
year.
greatest. Yeah, it sounds like it might be the greatest con ever to exist.
It's the 90s was the greatest era to ever exist, so. I only have formative memories starting at about I want to say 94-ish, 95. All right, closer to 96.
Well, at any rate, he's actually commented that he was, he is actually a little bit afraid of coming back to the franchise because he's so worried about disappointing fans and so worried about letting down this franchise that launched so many great careers.
Yeah. Jay Ghost, our resident refugee from Connecticut, actually says, it's in Connecticut. It's not the greatest anything. Look, for all the things that your home state is absolutely trash for, it just sucks for, there are two things. One, 90s Con, which we now have to go to. And two, we have another reason to go to Connecticut besides 90s Con. We're not just going to go to 90s Con. We're going to go to the greatest theme park ever built, Lake Compounce. Now, if you've never been to Lake Compounce, I should probably pull up some images and do an actual ad, but I'm not going to do that. If you've been to Lake Compounce, here's why I love Lake Compounce. Along with it being partial water park half the year, it also has a lot of older, rides from, times of a bygone era. 2 wooden coasters, one that's built on the side of a hill that's still freaking one of the scariest rides to go on. I love it, of course. But the other thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that they have free soda, everywhere. You just grab a cup, put it in a fountain, and that's what you get. So you have, plenty of beverages while you're waiting in line to go on the rides, and plenty of beverages with your overpriced food. Telling you, man, there's actually cool stuff in Connecticut. Well, 2 cool stuffs in Connecticut. 90s Con and Lake Compounce. Jay Ghost says, not a single ride update in my 41 years. If you get on the roller coaster, make sure you get one of the cars with seatbelts. See? It's a classic.
Well, I think I can speak for everybody here when I wish, Matthew a rousing success.
Yeah, absolutely. And way to take your return, your reprisal with a little bit of dignity and class and humility, wanting to just make sure that you do your best job. It's actually kind of refreshing to see now happening in Hollywood instead of, let's, shift everything and change the origin stories and make it all political and stupid and... No. Let's just make content, and we can have 5 or 10 minutes of, political grandstanding sprinkled throughout the 2-hour movie if it's that important.
Yeah, so we wish him good luck, and Lillard, you'll never disappoint us, at least not in our hearts.
I'm
There we
open to the first time for everything, but anyway.
So, here's one that I thought was interesting. We're getting a Heat 2.
All right.
I don't know why we are, but we're getting it.
It's that's because it's Warner Bros. Still the sort of weird awkward kid on the block right now.
Right, the kid that Warner Brothers is now the pair of kids that are sitting on the stoop waiting for Dad to get home after he went out to buy a pack of smokes.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, we're getting a Heat 2. This is what? The sequel that nobody wanted.
But you're getting it anyway.
Yeah, it's a sequel to a 1995 film, so I don't want to be critical or anything here, but that's a 30-year-old show that we're getting a sequel to. Feels like it might have been a little too much time, guys.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see the first one, and I really don't care. Like, the 90s wasn't notorious for, like, in-depth bangers. Like, it was Boondock Saints, dude. That's all I remember off the top of my head.
Dude,
it was Boondock Saints. It
Hackers. The original Mortal Kombat movie
Sneakers.
was freaking
And then
hilarious.
Sneakers.
Well, Scream, right?
Scream.
The Craft, The Crow. Need I go on?
Hold on, you probably will, but in a different way.
How many have already been butchered?
Right. Jay Ghost says, new
Need I
game,
go on?
the most ridiculous Too Late Legacy sequel. I pick Earth Girls Are Easy.
Right?
Let's see, what sequel? Oh, Mystery Men 2. No. Do not touch what is already perfect and holy and does not need. No. Let's see. What other crazy sequel? Let's see. What other stuff have you got? John, what's your
Bloodsport? The Van Damme movie where he does the splits and punches the guy in the balls to finish off the fight.
All right.
Yeah.
Sneakers
Like I said, I
2.
can keep going. I
My
can
thing is,
keep
like,
going.
let's just do the bad movies better, not sequels to one-hit wonders.
We all know that the Firefly reboot's an inevitability at this point. Talk about a legacy sequel that'll be too late. Yeah.
If they do that,
Serenity
honestly,
2. Yeah.
Or Firefly 2, that'll be like, oh god, that'll
it
be
has
so...
guns now. It's woke. Anyway,
Yeah.
they put guns on Firefly Serenity. It's woke now.
Yeah. Speaking of woke chickens coming home to woke roost, the BBC says unprecedented funding challenge lies ahead as content spent is set to fall by 200 million.
But that's what their PBS is. What that's what BBC is, isn't it? The British propaganda.
Not
network?
exactly.
Oh,
not exactly.
I thought they were state funded.
They are sort of. Okay, you have to understand
Access
that in the
coming
US.
up short there, England.
Okay, so in the UK, you do not pay, or you pay for your TV in a licensing agreement.
Oh.
Okay, so if you own a TV, you are required to pay so much per year to use it. Okay, part of that funding goes to the BBC. Here's the thing, though. They've recently gotten rid of the license, more or less making it optional, figuring that people would still want the BBC and would want its content.
Not everybody
Turns
likes
out,
the BBC.
Yeah. turns out that when you make the content not reflective of the people watching the content anymore, or at least the politics
The
of the people
BBC
watching
gets
the
to be
content.
too much to take in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. That's beautiful. Like that is exactly what has happened every single time a monopoly has been challenged. But literally, even just the option to not pay for it, like, finally done. I'm out. Like honestly, I feel like their revenue is going down because most people are like, oh, if we own a TV, we have to pay to watch it. What if I just streamcast?
It's right. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened, actually. Is
Like,
90% of
I
people
haven't
stopped
turned the
owning a TV
channels on my TV.
Like I
and
almost
just
thought
started
of
streaming.
I almost thought of getting BritBox at one point, but it's like, with how much
Oh, the classic stuff on BritBox is worth it.
still worthwhile. Okay.
Yeah, like, dude, there's a series you need to watch. It's called Sharp. Okay, it's basically Sean Bean fighting in the Napoleonic Wars.
So what episode does he die in?
I'll leave it to you to find out.
Well, I can look forward to that, I guess.
But it's actually really good.
Sean Bean is a spoiler alert.
Yeah, but there are a few really great series like that that the BBC has done in the past.
Dude, Sherlock was the tops.
Yeah. Right?
Sherlock, yeah, the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock was quite good.
His
Jay Ghost
origin
writes
story.
in, they're already paying for D+ for Doctor Who. Would I lie to you is simultaneously clipped out on YouTube. I literally just told you was only good for a couple of seasons. Sherlock is gone. Yeah, no, the BBC is just doesn't, it's just got, yeah. It's been overused and overplayed at this point, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it suffered from some severe diversity demands, and it shows, and it hasn't worked out since. And
now the BBC has gone a little limp.
Yeah, so now they're facing a bit of a funding crisis because they stopped listening to the people that watched it and wanted what they wanted, right?
No, we're gonna give you what you want. You'll like it. You will consume product.
All right, next one that I thought was a very interesting little piece. Do you guys remember watching A Different World?
I cannot.
It was one of those, it was a spin-off from The Cosby Show.
Oh, all right.
That was actually really well done for its time in kind of showcasing what Black college life was about. And it was actually pretty good, right? I've seen a few episodes from over the years, and it was always very intelligently done. It wasn't like stereotypical or crap. It was actually pretty solid. And now we're getting a sequel, apparently.
Yeah. Jay Ghost says they didn't play A Different World in Idaho for reasons.
I mean,
we lived in southern Idaho, mind you. Okay, there was at least, let's see, John, when we moved to Idaho, what was that, back in 1996? You were like what, 2 or 3? So you probably don't recall. No, there was at least like a black person in Boise by the time we moved.
No, dude, actually, it depends on when Rwanda was, but Boise was a refugee state for the Slavic Wars.
Yeah.
So like we've had refugees forever in where we're from.
But if you lived up in the
culture has been mixed.
If you lived in the northern regions of Idaho, yeah, you probably never heard of this show either.
But at any rate, yeah, it was an interesting piece. I thought it was a pretty decent show for its time. But this was a show from 1987. And now they want to do a sequel of it. talk about a different world. This is a very different world now that
Talk
they'd
about
be
legacy
putting in
sequels. We
this.
don't. Yeah. It's a different. It's a different world.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Jay, congratulations! Your game got another sequel mention. Yay! Next.
so
Also from our
next.
new favorite source.
Now, this one I think you guys are going to like. I have been watching and patiently waiting for this movie for years now. It was originally stuck in development hell, and then it got made and they couldn't get it released. And now it's finally going to be released next year. Warner Brothers completes worldwide sale of Coyote versus Acme. It turns out the Coyote is now officially of the opinion that the reason why he never caught the Roadrunner was because Acme was in cahoots with the Roadrunner to always sell him defective product.
So it's a court case that I mean, shut up and take my shut up and take my money.
Yeah,
when does it launch? When do we?
This is going to be in 2026. It's going to see a worldwide release. But it looks like
so much shit
possibly,
in 2026. Now this GTA.
But it looks like
on
possibly
PC.
This looks like this could be possibly the funniest movie we are going to get for a very, very long time. It blends real world and cartoon. This could be great.
I think it's gonna be. I'm already sold on the premise. Let's just go get it. All right, no wait. I kind of am in a hurry to get through 2025. It's been ridiculous, and now we're talking about.
And we're not even a quarter through it, right?
Anyway, back to the stuff that matters. More Deadline.
Yeah. So this sounds absolutely hilarious. And following this, you know, somebody, probably Midnight's Edge, is going to do a rundown of how this thing got through all kinds of development hell to get to where it is today. And I look forward to that.
And then he's not going to watch it. Anyway,
yeah. All right, moving on.
Appreciate you, Tom. Jay Ghost says, I will pre-purchase tickets for 3 separate showings. Yeah. You know what's funny is that's not a joke.
Dude, I'm going to live in the theater for a week when this comes out.
I actually went to the Lego movie with Jason. And yeah, I remember the day we went, it was like, yeah, hi, 2 grown-ass adults for the Lego movie, please.
Yeah.
But it ended up being just a really great film anyway.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you watch TWB. Anyway.
All right. We're getting a John Wick 5.
A 4th freaking fan fiction sequel, really? Speaking of
And
legacies
we're getting
that
an
are too
animated
late.
prequel. Yeah, and we're getting an animated prequel to add in.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed the first John Wick film. I thoroughly appreciated its realism in a similar way that the first couple of Bourne movies had a realistic approach, and it felt convincing, and I believed it in it. Then we got to the second one, and he has like a magical blazer that can absorb 8 million bullets. He takes like damage that should incapacitate him and completely doesn't. Like, okay, go back to the hotel room scene, assassination attempt. Like, to this day, I still sit there. It's such a hard scene to watch because it's very well acted, but it's also, that's like a believable scenario that he narrowly escapes. And then we just kind of turn him into an action hero. Yay.
Well,
but hey, if y'all are excited for 5th John Wick, just get me tanked enough, I'll go with you.
They are going to keep making John Wick movies until they stop making money.
Until Keanu's, until Keanu is, we don't even think about that. But anyway.
Yeah. No, listen, first, he can never die, only the actors who play Keanu.
Right.
At any rate, moving on. Now, from the free at last, thank the gods almighty we are free at last. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is not getting the deal that she previously had with Amazon. She's only getting a first look deal, which means if she comes up with an idea, she gets to present. Amazon wants her to present it to them first, and then they can choose to reject it, instead of we are making the next 3 things you design deal, which is what she had previously. This is the woman who managed to, join the cast of the Dial of Disappointment. This is the woman who decided a ultra feminist robot, ultra feminist droid in, what was it? Star Wars, the Solo movie, was a great idea.
Which I thought was, but it still kind of is. It's just, I guess she wasn't playing a role. It was all serious for her, which, okay. Then.
Yeah, this is Fleabag. This is Miss Maisel. This is movies that intentionally frustrate and annoy people. And
Damn it.
now her deal has suddenly fallen through.
Gotta go back because Jay offers some fair perspective. You're looking at it all wrong. He's just a comic book character shot realistically. Hey, there's always libations of sorts to make you enjoy movies. I mean, I only ever saw the last Hobbit movie. And I went because, well, Jay and another really good friend of ours wanted to go, and I hadn't seen the first 2 Hobbit films because I had a plan to never see them, and, well, for the first 2, I'm still doing pretty good with that. But with the last one, I decided, screw it, I'll go with my friends. Plus, what's the worst that could happen? I get drunk and actually want to see the rest of the movies? I didn't want to see the rest of the movies.
Dude, I've never finished them. I always fall asleep.
I enjoyed the first 2. I wasn't a big fan of the third.
We had Lotor, kind of have to, well, actually, this is just the thickness of one book, but we had Lotor, have to, condense down. Even for the director's cuts, there's still a bunch of shit from the books that's left out.
Dude, you're never getting a realistic interpretation of Tom Bombadil.
Not with that
Let
attitude.
it go. Let it go.
Let it go! Anyway, but The Hobbit, which I did actually, this is also what's funny, I still haven't read Lord of the Rings.
Well, I know what our next book review is.
Yeah, coming this Christmas. It's the Writer Brothers Lord of the Rings review. Yeah, no, I know, I've needed to, I just haven't really. But I did read The Hobbit. So it's kind of funny that I read The Hobbit, haven't read Lord of the Rings, but I've seen all 3 Lord of the Rings films, but I've only seen one of the Hobbit movies that I'm watching, and I'm like, none of this was, the hell is, anyway. Because they took the little tiny book and blew it up into 3 movies.
Yeah. So, now you may be wondering why the deal has changed so much with Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Jay Ghost says, unsubscribe, PD is fraud. That's correct. You've unmasked me. I am...
He's actually 3 raccoons in a trench coat, but...
As I just showed you.
Yeah. All right. You may be asking yourself, well, why has the deal suddenly been altered?
I have altered the deal. Pray it doesn't alter any further.
Well, the reason
we don't
being
even
is
need
because...
we don't need a soundboard. We'll just make our own pop culture references, doing the voices ourselves. That's our thing. Or at least one of them.
It is our thing. And this actually, has to do with the fact that Jennifer Salk apparently stepped down. Now, we have information, though, from another source.
So is it time? It's time to check in with the Intel Avians.
Yes, launch my Intel Avians. Go!
I don't have a theme song for this yet, but
we don't have a theme song.
Exactly. That's good. quality's finally improving.
Yeah, yo, we totally need to make that a sound button of "We don't have a theme song."
For
And
the
just hit it.
birds. Oh man, that
Yeah.
might actually have to be it. And then that's their official
Song, yeah.
All right. So of course, when you know what, it is worth indicating to our viewers when you see this graphic appear, whether it's here covering my gross ass face or when it's here covering up this gross ass logo, that means it's time to bust out your salt shakers as we are entering the speculation
Spin zone.
sort of rumor zone. This is where the intelligence portion of the Intel podcast comes from. Now, a little bit of background to explain. Now, for those of you who know, we are good friends with Mr. Cameron Pasha. He is a Hollywood writer. He's actually got works that are starting to move forward in the business, and he may be too busy to visit us often soon. I still want to try and get a show launched with him, hoping to start that maybe this month. We'll see what happens. I keep talking about it, and that's all I can do until it manifests. What this little graphic represents is Cameron's Intelligence Avians, or Intel Avians for short, comprised of Sparrow, who we first got to know in, comprised of Sparrow, which you see all the way on the left there, who is our Lucasfilm insider. Next we have Blue Jay, which is our Disney insider. Phoenix, right there, our newest Marvel insider. And who are we bringing now? Which Intel bird are we talking to or hearing from today?
So we're now hearing from Agent Cardinal. This little birdie has been apparently nesting inside Amazon HQ and has direct access to their media machine. Now, Cardinal has been hearing that Sulk wasn't, decided to move on to other projects or what have you. She was let go. And they gave her the parachute of giving her an option to, a first look kind of deal where if something came down the pike, she could take that on and it could be her little pet project on the side. But for all intents and purposes, not only did they get rid of the studio head position, or get rid of her, they got rid of the whole position. Now, individual projects are going to basically be given a direct budget and run without the interference of somebody on board as the head. This apparently happened because the 007 franchise that they've now just recently picked up, the condition of sale was that they never had to work with Jennifer Salk. Under any circumstances.
They weren't
ever.
going to. So yeah, that is common practice in these kinds of deals. Because in this case,
That's called sticking to your guns.
It's
James Bond.
right.
style.
It was more important that they retained their rights and not have Bond go anywhere, if it meant that it was going to go into the hands of the person who oversaw Rings of Power.
Yep.
So
Now, here's where things get very interesting, though. Apparently, Sulk was also the person that was preventing them from really exploring the MGM back catalog of IP. One of the turnkey projects that they apparently have ready to go, they just have to actually greenlight it, is a reboot of the Stargate franchise, or at least a continuation of the Stargate franchise.
I just recently started SG1 and I've taken a little bit of a break from it, but I've got to say for a first season show that one comes in strong. So
it slaps. Look, and it just gets better as it goes on. For a 10 season series with two series that follow along with it, it's an absolutely fantastic setup. And they had plans for a rebirth of the series taking place in modern day, where the Stargate program has been revealed to the world. And now they had everything ready to go. The scripts were all laid out. It was all set to happen. And Amazon kept dragging their heels on it, apparently because of Sulk. And now that she's out of the way, we could be seeing that set up very, very soon, along with some of the other big MGM franchises like Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of possibility coming out of Amazon right now. But the person behind Citadel, Wheel of Time, and Rings of Power is out of the way.
So I think all of the worry and doom and gloom about, oh, Bond gonna be at Amazon now and it's just gonna get Rings of Powered, no, it's not. So the person responsible is gone. I'm gonna make this executive disappear. Anyway, yeah, she's gone.
It's magic. God, I love that.
There has never been an introduction of a villain in any film or TV show that is done so eloquently and with the class that no, like, the Joker is a psychopath, to say the very least. I thought it's kind of insulting to psychopaths, but truthfully, the way that we, you know, experience and learn about the Joker, first he, you know, stages a betrayal heist that ends with him getting all the loot by himself, and then from there it just gets crazier to you know, we have plenty of room for aggressive expansion, but there's only one opening, so we're gonna have tryouts. God, it's nothing. No kind of scene has ever truly encapsulated and it sets the tone. We get the entire Joker's persona of what we can expect for the rest of the movie, and that this guy really is as realistic and believable a villain as he can, and he doesn't even show the violence. That's the real, just incredible talent of Nolan's work with The Dark Knight, is that he does it without getting grotesque, without resorting to oh yeah, here's the Joker doing some messed up stuff. Tryouts is enough of a scene that establishes what he is, and it just continues to get crazier from there, to burning half the money, to blowing up, you know, wanting to blow up one of the ferries, and blowing up a hospital. Just is a scene in of itself that came about just because of happenstance, because the detonators didn't trigger properly, and Ledger, being the incredible actor that he was, just played the scene off perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah. No. There will never be, like, don't get me wrong, Pattinson's The Batman was good for what it is, but the Dark Knight is still the Cape King. And it's not just because of Batman and because of it's the Joker. It's the whole thing. Every time I watch that movie, it gets more and more perfect. I realize, oh wait, this plot point was accounted for after all, and it's actually all there if you just watch and listen and pay attention and dissect the movie several times. Anyway, that was a nice little Dark Knight tirade. Do we have anything else from the Intel?
That's it from the briefing tonight, man.
All right.
I think we covered an awful lot, though.
Yeah. I mean, there was just quite a bit going on overall, between just the news of shakeups at movie studios, as well as, you know, properties changing hands, and you know, I think after what we can expect, I think that whatever we get to see from James Bond, I'm hopeful. I mean, Fallout, guys. Fallout is another piece of perfection, and as it turns out, that's Christopher Nolan's brother. So it's, yeah, right. When I found that, I'm like, oh well, okay, it makes more sense now.
Honestly, I think these movie studio head changes speak to the times.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see better product coming forward, because the people at the head of the studios are going to have much different directions on where they want to go.
Yeah. But I want to thank everybody, for tuning in, liking, commenting, subscribing. Everything, every little bit helps. If it just, a quick second of your time or a couple minutes of your time, we do appreciate all the love and support we get here. We are going to try and come back with some more Invincible reviews next week, and probably some more shows as things come back. I'm Peter, the Writer Brothers. We'll see you on the next E2IP. This has been a presentation of the Writer Brothers Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. The Writer Brothers, restoring respect into discourse. Have a great rest of your night.